Hello my friends, welcome to this 2v2 online battle. First of all, you may notice I sound a bit like Barry White. That's because the gods have stricken me down with some kind of Ebola or something and my voice is shot to shit from coughing. So, I do apologise, and I haven't posted for a while because of it, but there's so many things to talk about now. We've got new Bretonnia out right here. I'm playing as Bretonnia with an ally of Elves against Elves and Chaos. So my army is comprised of 4 units of these guys, Battle Pilgrims. They're basically kind of like Empire Swordsmen, just better. They're better in melee, they have Frenzy as well, so they're going to do more damage with higher leadership, and they're immune to psychology. So they're a pretty awesome unit. They're one of the few units that can actually be a front line for Bretonnia, because most Bretonnian infantry sucks. I've only got 2 units of archers, 2 regular peasant bowmen, so not too much on the range capabilities. On the flanks I've got my spearmen. These ones have shields, because against the elves they're going to need it with all the arrows flying around. I have 2 units of peasant mob, who are basically useless, but I had the money left over, so they might be able to chase off some archers or something. I've got Paladin on a horse as a hero. I've got another hero in the form of a damsel with the life law, so she's going to be used to heal my battle pilgrims or my cavalries mainly. Then my cavalries, which are of course the most important thing for Bretonnia. I've got Knights of the Realm, who are an anti-large cavalry, just a cheaper option. And then my general, I forgot to say, is Alberic de Bordelot, who is mixed in with them. He's on a horse as well. He is also anti-large, so he's great to mix in with cavalry. He can make an okay unit like Knights of the Realm turn into a great unit because of extra damage output. And then we got these guys. These are the questing knights. These are a huge damage dealer. They're a melee cavalry, not a shock cavalry, so they can stay in prolonged combat. I got 2 units of these, so they're going to be great for doing damage to all sorts. They're armor piercing as well, but they just seem to come away with a lot of kills regardless of who they're fighting, armor or no. And lastly, hidden away in the trees over here, I've got some almighty Grail knights who are anti-large now, and they're pretty much the best anti-large cavalry you're going to get. Well, at least for Bretonnia. Maybe the Blood Knights will outdo them, I'm not sure. Maybe Demigriffs, who knows. Anyway, that is my Bretonnian army. Now, it looks like I'm squaring up against these Elves, who have a front line of spearmen, with some treekin as well. I think he's got 2 units of treekin, 4 units of spearmen, and then a bunch of archers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 units of archers. And a spellslinger of life. And a general who is a glady on an eagle thing. Hawk, whatever it is. But yeah, it's fairly obvious what his strategy is. Try and gun the crap out of me. Oh, and some war dancers as well. Hidden away there in all their blonde glory. So that's his army. That's what I've got to deal with. So I'm going to have to figure out how to defeat them. Then the Chaos player has these little concoctions, which is quite cool and not terribly bad idea. 2 units of Marauders mixed with 2 units of Chaos Warhounds. That seems to be like a little thing on his flanks. And then he's just got a whole ton of Chaos Warriors. A whole ton of them. Got some Dragon Ogres here as well, who are anti-large. So they could be pretty dangerous to my cavalry or to whatever my Wood Elf player's got. Got Prince Sigbold as his general running into a tree. More Chaos Warriors. And then another bunch of these Marauders and Warhound mixtures. So his flanks are controlled by those little mixtures. And then his front line is basically just Chaos Warriors. And my Elven brother has... what does he have? Eternal Guard. Seems to be a mixture. It's all mashed up at the moment. He's got 4 tree men. I know that much. Well, 3 tree men and 1 ancient tree man. That's his general. And all spearmen and all archers other than that. Starfire shaft ones. Oh yes. So yeah, very similar to what my elven opponent has. So it seems to be a build now. It's just spears and skirmishers. And someone was complaining about this in the comments on one of my videos, saying that the elves were overpowered. And I'm not sure whether that's true. I think this build is very beatable. But it is going to come down a lot to what your army composition is. If you have no cavalry, then yeah, you might struggle against a spears and archers build. Anyway, I'm moving over here now. Kind of moving back a bit, staying out the range of the elves for a while. I was hiding down the hill originally so that he couldn't see any of my army, and now I've just moved up onto the hill. My elven brother is seemingly coming out of the trees. A lot of the chaos is still hidden at the moment, so we don't know what they have. And I'm moving back kind of against this tree line, nearer to my ally. I'm in no rush to engage the enemy here. I'm going to let them approach. We'll take our time and see what happens. I can see if I can make the enemy make a mistake. I'm going to move my cavalry down the hill in a bid to try and hide them. Anyway, there was a bunch of things I wanted to talk about in this video. The first one, the big news, if you haven't already heard, Bretonnia was the last DLC for Total War Warhammer. There will be no more DLC for this game. That's pretty big news in my book. But just to get back to the battle quickly. So I've got my cavalry down here, I'm moving them back, I'm still just taking my time. My plan is to take these cavalry around the back, of course, and try to get into these skirmishers. Because they're his strength, and I need to get rid of them. If I can do that with my strength, the cavalry, then that's going to be an awesome win for me. But yeah, no more DLC. However, They're now working on the second one, Total War Warhammer 2, so it'll be a brand new map, all new factions. We can speculate what the factions are going to be. What do we reckon? Let me know in the comments. My Elven player is doing something a bit strange here. The way he's positioned his army, he's not really facing anyone. Being at that kind of angle to the enemy's front line is basically just a flanking invitation. So he's kind of facing off like this way, like he's trying to protect against this, but all this is just going to go bloop around the back. And that'll be the end of him. So, I'm not really sure what he's doing there. Hopefully he's going to move. Otherwise, he will get thoroughly flanked by Chaos Warriors, and then it's just a bad day for anyone. So, we'll see what happens with him. On my side, I'm still dancing my cavalry around, trying to avoid missiles. The Glade Lady's still firing at my units. I have moved my army back. My main army, I'm moving right back to the tree line now. I'm trying to get the elves to come down off the hill. I want to get it so I can get my cavalry behind the hill and they won't be able to see them. My ally is pulling his archers back, but there are some Chaos Warhounds charging towards them, so yeah. We'll see how that one pans out. So here I was trying to rush my cavalry round the back, but the archers are on it and he started to focus fire on them, and I was not having that. You can see they've done a bit of damage already, just with a few seconds of missile fire. Those are armor-piercing missiles as well, so they're going to be perfect for taking down my cavalry, so I have to be careful of that. But he turned, you can see here, he's turned to face his army, to face my cavalry. It's the same mistake that my ally made. He's turned his army to face off this way, which is now allowing me this flanking option. So I'm rushing my army up. Now I saw this and I just rushed my army forward as quick as possible. You can see I've even got my archers rushing up. That's how quickly I did it. I forgot to even move my archers back. So I'm launching my attack now. Everything is coming forward, and this is the thing about dealing with these kind of archer builds, I think. Yes, he has 7 units of archers, but they could only fire at 7 different targets. And one single archer unit firing on an enemy archer unit isn't going to do a great deal of damage in the 30 seconds that they're approaching. So it's really not a big deal to take a bit of damage. My Grail Knights are flanked around the right side now, and that was part of my plan. I put all my other cavalry together to make it look like that was all of my cavalry, and then I had my Grail Knights hidden away because I wanted to flank around the right with them. I wanted him to think it was safe on the right and there was no cavalry to worry about, but really there was. There was this. A holy Grail Knight charge of death. And so I've got into his archers now. I'm going to get these Questing Knights around there as well, or these Knights of the Realm actually. Going to get them into them. So these archers are looking pretty fricked at this point. He did have these Treekin on the side, which are tying up some of my other cavalries, which is annoying, but that's what they're there to do. I did manage to get around some of them. My Battle Pilgrims are getting stuck into these Eternal Guard. They should be able to beat them, I'm pretty sure. Do have some high melee defense, do the old Eternal Guard, but nothing the Battle Pilgrims shouldn't be able to handle, I don't think. Treekin, they may be a little bit tougher. You see my archers are in there getting destroyed, because I forgot to move them back in my haste. I sent my Peasant Mob to chase off some Horse Marauders, just to try and disrupt them. My ally over here, it looks like he's been fairly overrun. A lot of his units have run away. It's just his tree men that are surviving. And even these tree men, they have a lot of damage, but it's not armor piercing. And Chaos Warriors have a lot of armor. These Dragon Ogres tearing up his skirmishers, although it looks like he's running away. That ancient tree man's kept them safe to some degree. My Peasant Mob are routing already, they haven't even done anything. Over here, I'm still just flanking the crap out of him. Getting all my horses to just destroy these archers. These are his strength. Like I said, if I get rid of the archers, he has nothing. I got my Knights of the Realm trapped here though, that was a mistake, but he really needed both units of Treekin on his right side to protect against my cavalry. Now, another thing I want to talk about, I am of course going to be doing a faction army guide for Bretonnia. And it probably would have been done by now, the first part at least, if it wasn't for this damn Barry White voice. I seem to be missing an opportunity here actually. I've got these Battle Pilgrims stood there doing nothing, when these Spearmen could be very easily flanked. So a missed opportunity there from me, could have got rid of them a bit quicker. But yeah, my voice is pretty fucked, so I don't want to do one of my big fancy guide videos with this stupid raspy voice. I think it will compromise quality a bit too much. Online battles are a bit more informal, so I don't think it matters really as a one-off. Either way, I will get the Bretonnia guide out. It will just take a little bit longer than normal, so apologies for the delay. I'll wait for my voice to return to its normal non-Barry White state. But what I'm going to do instead is in this battle, I'm going to give you a kind of preview to that guide and tell you a little bit about what I've found of Bretonnia and how you should use them and what their strengths are and yada yada yada. My Paladin over here though, dealing with some Horse Marauders. He's routing them by his damn self. He's a damn beast. Over here though, it looks like we've routed most of the skirmishers. I've got my cavalry just chasing them off, making sure they don't return. Alberic's going crazy, trying to get him after the Spellslinger now I think. I've beat up their lord who routed, but he's just come back by the looks of it. Treekin still struggling to get rid of them. Battle Pilgrims have done alright. There's still some Spearmen left, but it shouldn't be any big massive problem. Alberic. Oh, he charges the Spellslinger out of the sky. She's down. But she's not dead, unfortunately. I'm going to get after that Spellslinger. Get her dead if we can. Battle Pilgrims helping him out. Still got a good unit of cavalry over here in pretty good condition. his generals come down, for some reason has attacked my questing knights. This is pretty much just spelling doom for him to get himself wrapped up in 2 units of cavalry. So it's going to be a short day for him. Got a few Grail Knights left as well. They're on archer mop-up duty. A couple of spearmen. My ally has been overrun by Chaos Warriors. His tree men did rout, I think, but they've just come back. Looks like he's just about to get a hold of all his archers. All his Chaos Warriors are in a bit of a line for some reason. Looks like they're in a queue. A bit weird. But yeah, all he's got left really is these archers, and they're looking like they're in trouble. I've got some of my routed cavalry sat there. I'm not sure what they were doing there. You see the paladin in the background. Oh, he's nearly killed me. Look at him, chasing them all off by himself. He's not scared of them. One paladin chasing about 50 blokes. Brilliant. Okay, yep. So Chaos is looking like they have defeated the Elves, but these tree men aren't going down easy. They're still alive. They've lost a lot of health, I think, and the ancient tree man's still going. How these archers have survived this long with 4 units of warhounds around, I will never know. I'm not sure what the guy was doing with his warhounds, but they should have had those archers easy. Routing some of the final infantry for my enemy, though. Trying to get this Spellsinger dead as well, who is remarkably staying alive pretty well against a general and another. I got my damsel in there as well. I even threw her into combat. Yeah, this Spellsinger seems to be somehow dodging all of Alberic's attacks and staying alive really well. Other than that, though, in the Treekin, the Elves are all but defeated. Everything's gone. Some of my units are routed. Got a little bit of cavalry left there. I'm going to send them over to try and help out my ally, what's left of my cavalry, to go and save my ally from a certain doom. But anyway, what is Bretonnia all about? Well, if you haven't figured it out by now, the strength of Bretonnia is their cavalry. These things, these men on horses. They are pretty imperative to Bretonnian battle success. Not just because they're good units, but because the Bretonnian infantry kind of sucks. Battle Pilgrims and Foot Squires are pretty good for what you pay for them. The Spearmen can get by as Spearmen, they're fine. But other than that, they don't have a lot of options. The Men-at-Arms, the Peasant Mob are just basically useless. The only units you could have as a front line is Battle Pilgrims or Foot Squires. Maybe some of the Spearmen against the right faction. And even Battle Pilgrims and Foot Squires are gonna need some help against a lot of units. This is where the cavalries come in. Bretonnia has some fantastic melee cavalries. Melee cavalries, the ones that can stay in prolonged combat, not shock cavalries. Questing Knights are awesome, they can do a lot of damage. They're armor piercing as well. Foot Squires, even though they're pretty good, they're never going to be able to beat Black Orcs, or Chosen, or any top tier heavily armoured unit. They are going to need some help with them, so whether that's from melee cavalries, or shock cavalries coming and hammer and anvil in the back of them, that can obviously be fantastic too. Shock cavalries are great for Bretonnia, of course. Grail Knights, humongous charge bonus, very dangerous unit. So all about the cavalries for Bretonnia. Alberic de Bordelot demonstrating that here perfectly, mopping up those pesky skirmishers. The one good thing about the Bretonnian infantry though, as much as it does suck, it is all very, very cheap. So it's not very expensive to bring along, meaning you can bring a lot of it if you want to. So the most expensive unit is Foot Squires, but they're only 700, which is really cheap for a top infantry. So yes, you have to support your infantry with your cavalries. Cavalries are very strong. They are expensive, but you're going to be needing to bring 3, 4, maybe 5 units of cavalry along to your battles, which does create the problem of a lot of micromanagement. I found it's very tough to keep track of all the cavalries, especially shock cavalries, as you have to charge them in and then pull them away and make sure they're safe, because you can't leave them there. If you do, you may lose a very expensive unit. And that's pretty much what I found to be the gist of Bretonnia and how they best operate. Skirmishers are pretty good as well. The Peasant Bowmen can get the job done like any other skirmisher. They've got good range, 160. However, they have no armor-piercing skirmishers, which can be quite the downside. They do have some pretty strong air units though. They're flying cavalries, Pegasus Knights, Hippogriff Knights, very dangerous in the right situations. But back to the battle at hand, about to get a charge in. Ooh, that's my Questing Knights into Chaos Warriors. That's a good matchup for them because they are armor piercing, my Questing Knights. So that's who they really should have been fighting for this whole thing. Looks like the tree men have survived. They have survived this onslaught with a little help from my cavalries perhaps. The rest of my army's coming over though, just in case. There's a few elven units left, but nothing really to worry about. The Chaos player brought no anti-large units other than the Dragon Ogres though. Some halberds would have been perfect against those tree men. They're anti-large and they're armor piercing, so they would have been perfect. What kind of dick doesn't bring anti-large? Jeez, what kind of idiot would do that? Oh dear. Unless you watch my campaign videos, you won't get that in-joke. In one of my campaigns recently, I was doing a quest battle against the vampires and I forgot to bring spears along against the vampires. A monster heavy faction. It was just ridiculous. Still, somehow, this pissing Spellsinger is alive. I cannot catch the bitch. She just is floating around everywhere. And look, she's still got loads of health. I've had Alberic on her this whole time. There's Treekin aren't making it easy either. But that's pretty much all she wrote for this battle. We managed to defeat the elven build of spears and millions of skirmishers, thankfully, but it was more because of his mistake of turning his army and leaving me open with that flank, and those Grail Knights came round, and it was all just downhill from there for him. But there we go, a Pyrrhic victory. Me and my ally and his trees were able to win the day. Oh, they've brought back the ability to click on different things and see different armies and kills. Ah, that's awesome. I don't know why they took it out in the first place. I'll assume it was an accident, but that's good it's back. Anyway, how did we do? Peasants did nothing, of course. Spearmen didn't do a lot. Battle Pilgrims did okay. Nothing amazing, really. Could have done better, I think. Wow, Skirmishers did absolutely nothing. I would have thought they did more than that. Damn it. My kills, though, of course, the cavalries. This is what I'm talking about. This is why the cavalries are so essential for Bretonnia. They're coming away with 100 kills each, apart from the Grail Knights, letting the team down Grail Knights. Damn it. My enemy, you can see, I completely neutralised his strength, his game plan to gun me down with all these skirmishers. Barely got any kills. Treekin did okay. Spearman did alright. But yeah, his strength didn't allow it to happen, mainly because I had all those cavalries. Cavalries were the key there, of course, against that kind of build. Captain Chaos did alright. His Warhounds probably could have got more kills. I'm surprised he didn't get the skirmishers earlier. 4 units of Warhounds would have destroyed them. And my ally, most of his kills, of course, coming from the Treemen. Spearmen did nothing. Skirmishers did okay. So much like my opponent, this guy was going for a similar build, except he opted for Treemen, which seemed to work out kind of in his favour, although they weren't optimal for dealing with all those Chaos Warriors. But that is how this metaphorical battle cookie crumbled. So, what could have been better about this one? Well, for me, I think I should have tried to help my ally a bit more. 2 units of Questing Knights there, armor piercing, they would have been great against Chaos Warriors, as I said. And I had my opponent kind of beat quite early on when I got into all his skirmishers. They all routed, he didn't really have anything left. So there wasn't a need for me to have 4 units of cavalry over there, because all that was left really was spearmen. And I can't have my cavalry fighting spearmen because obviously anti-large. So yeah, should have made better use of my Questing Knights. As for my opponent, he obviously made the mistake of leaving himself open to a flanking attack, and really just came down to the fact that he didn't bring enough infantry or anything to support and protect all those missile units. He maybe should have had 2 units less of missiles and brought 2 extra units of spearmen. Then he would have had a better chance of protecting against all my cavalries, and maybe using the Treekin to engage my Battle Pilgrims rather than his spearmen as well. Treekin will hold great against Battle Pilgrims. Spearmen will do much better than Treekin against cavalries, if that makes sense. So yeah, and the Chaos player, all he needed was maybe 2 units of halberds, and he would have had a much easier time taking down those Treemen. And honestly, that Elven player is lucky those Warhounds didn't tear his skirmishers to shreds within the first 2 minutes of the battle, because he had the opportunity there, but for some reason, the Warhounds didn't get into the skirmishers. But there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching. I've been Barry White. I'll see you in the future, or I might not, because I might be dead. Thanks for watching either way.